Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about retirement mistakes which I see people make. And it could be very early or it could be very late. Both kind of mistakes I'm going to cover. Mistake number one: not having a retirement plan. I don't know how people suddenly turn and say, "Oh, I didn't expect my company to ask me to retire at 58 or 60." The day you took up a job, you knew your retirement date. Now don't say you were surprised that you are turning 58 or you are turning 60 or 55, whatever is your retirement age, right? Or your target date, you want to retire at 54, 55, whatever is the date, right? So don't be surprised by the date. So start preparing much earlier, maybe at 45 if you want to retire at 55. 10 years, I will do a separate video on 10 years ago, 10 years prior to retirement, what should you do, and on your retirement date, what you should do. So let me tell you some of these mistakes. Being surprised, which means not at all preparing for it. Second, not having a retirement plan, which should start early, and start writing it down. Please start writing it down, because then you will see how foolish and stupid you were, say 6 months ago or 1 year ago, and then you realize that it is not possible, that some of these things may or may not happen. Third mistake I see is not involving the spouse, assuming that oh, I am going to stay in Coimbatore, and your wife says, no, I don't want to stay in Coimbatore, I want to stay in Pune, or vice versa, right, or something like that, and not being able to make those decisions. Some others make a decision of buying a senior citizen home sometime even in their 40s, or very late 40s or early 50s, saying, oh, this is ideal, I am going to be in Bangalore, this is a beautiful location, there is a hospital nearby, and therefore I will stay there. Wrong, completely wrong. Don't be in a hurry to buy, because you are going into a senior citizen home only at the age of 70. So if you buy in your 40s, next 30 years this house is going to be old, you are not going to be able to use it. You want to buy a brand new house at the age of 70, so that there is minimum maintenance for the next 10-15 years. You don't want to stay in a 30-year-old old age home and then wonder whether it was a right decision to buy. Right, so earmarking your old age home at the age in your 40s and 50s is absolutely stupid, because you have no clue what requirements you will have in your 70s. It's far more important that you create your group with whom you are going to retire. So it could be older cousins, it could be younger cousins, it could be friends, classmates, schoolmates, colleagues. If you have worked for a long time in one company, find out the group, maybe 5, 10, 12 people. When you say 12, it means 24 people, because 12 couples, right? That's what we are talking about. Decide that these are the old people, these are the people with whom you are going to grow old. Then go and do your shopping. There is no great hurry to buy, and in any place. And another mistake I see is people relocating on a whim. So they leave Bombay and they go to Coimbatore, and they say, oh, it's not good, this I have this problem, I have that problem, and then they come back. Or they go to Sringeri and say, oh, Sringeri is a fantastic place, great weather, etc., etc. They go there and they actually find it very difficult to live in your 80s, because it's very cold in winter. So please understand that at the age of 70, you will go to a senior citizen gated community where you will have assisted living. Somebody will come and change the bulb in your house and help you maybe with even buying grocery or basic banking or something like that. When you need help, you ask for it and you will get it. After 85, you go into a geriatric care, where you have far lesser options, because you have to have good quality geriatric care at a price which you can afford. So you have to look for all that. So you need 2 senior citizen homes. One is a senior citizen home with aided living, and second is geriatric care, where somebody will have to even change your diaper and give you bedpan. Maybe you don't need it at all. Maybe you die at the age of 84. And when I say 70 and 85, I'm just assuming. For somebody 70 could happen in 67, for somebody it could happen in 73. So don't be in a hurry to commit, don't be in a hurry to buy, right? Just plan, go do your shopping. Maybe Jaipur is a good place, maybe Kerala is a good place, maybe Coimbatore, maybe Pune, maybe Bombay, whatever it is. Go first, just do your shopping. In all these places, temporary help is temporary rental is available. So go and stay there for a month or two, see how it is. It is one thing visiting it, and one thing actually living there for 2-3 months and seeing whether it works for you, right? So all those things have to be done. So 40s, 50s, even in your 60s, you just are doing shopping. Don't be in a hurry to commit, right? And like I said, 2 old age homes, 70 to 85 and 85 and beyond, right? You need to, so being prepared for that is different, and actually going and buying is different. So don't be in a hurry to buy. Other thing is when passing on professional help. See, not everybody can be a DIY investor, especially on the way down, right? When the way down, I mean, you have put in a lot of efforts, you have accumulated money, you have reached a corpus size. How to withdraw, how to keep it in different buckets, when to withdraw, how much to provide for senior citizen care. I mean, how much to provide for medical, how much to provide for day-to-day expenses, and how much to provide for growth. 3-4 buckets you need to keep your money in. More of mental accounting perhaps, but you need to understand all that. Not everybody is well equipped to do it. Maybe you were in a job which was very demanding, and suppose you have a government job which expects you to work for 15 hours a week. Then you will find a lot of time to manage your money, etc., provided you're interested and you're capable. The assumption is you're capable, you're interested, and you have time. All this combination has to work. Suppose you're not interested in it at all, then you need an advisor. Suppose you are not capable of doing, you don't understand, it's too complex, it's too boring, your wife is not interested in learning, and that's all. In that situation, you're not going to be able to do it on your own. Then you need an advisor. Third is also, you may not be able to find time. If you have a nice private sector job which is very demanding, you will not be able to find time. But if you have a nice government sinecure which expects you to work only 10-12 hours, 15 hours a week, then it's very different. Then you can afford to do all your personal financial planning, and you can even tell others how to do it, right? So don't pass on when you need help. Don't just think that, I can manage on my own. Some people can, many people can't, right? So don't relocate on a whim. Just be very careful about relocation. Everybody thinks, I'm going to live in this place because so and so live. Not true. Look at somebody 20 years older than you. So if you're 50 years of age, look at somebody who is 70, see what they are doing. Look at somebody who is 60, look at somebody who is 55. With all the 3 people, keep in touch, and so you know how your life can also take a pattern. And if you're the elder ones among the cousins, then you look at what your uncle and aunts have done. If you're the younger ones, then you have your older cousins to look at. If you are the older cousin, if you're the older part of the family, then you will have your uncles and aunts. See what they have done, and how comfortable they are. Go talk to them, meet them. Doing all that is very useful and very important for you to plan your old age. You don't know how you are going to be in your old age. Also, you need to plan to say what happens if you are single, right? So make that plan. People don't plan for all that, because why do you think that you're permanent? Another thing I see is people falling for too good to be true offers. I mean, I'm going to give you 7% tax-free return in this product. Look, these things don't exist, right? They just don't exist. So be very careful. If you don't understand the product, don't buy. I've been offered one product which is some 6.3% tax-free bonds. I don't understand it. I don't understand how somebody can give that when interest rates of Sarkar is about 6.58%, right? So if you don't understand, just stay away. Don't buy products just because it looks good. It may not be good. If it is too good to be true, it is perhaps too good to be true. It may not be true. Another assumption which people make is saying, I will work till I'm 75, till I'm 80. I mean, I want to be very active. I want to keep myself busy. That's fantastic, but people may not want you around. Even in charitable organizations, they don't allow you to do voluntary work also beyond the age of 70. Please be careful. So it's not easy to think that, I will do something, I will make myself useful to society. All that is great, but society, at least in India, has this huge ageism. So they have a cutoff saying that beyond 70 we don't want your help. So be very careful about that. Another thing I see people doing is decluttering. Be very careful with your papers. With your things, it's okay. With your papers, get it clarified by your chartered accountant or somebody to say whether, how do you have to keep papers for 7 years, 10 years, business papers. Be careful about that. I've not even come to what I would think the number one mistake which people make in retirement is postponing the planning for retirement. That is disaster number one. I don't know why it is coming so late in my list of mistakes, but yes, be careful about that. If you keep postponing, then you will not have enough money to retire. Another mistake I see people make is putting too much money into children's projects. Could be their marriage, could be their education, could be anything. If you don't communicate properly about the money that you have, your children will not know how much you should be able to spend. Another important thing is feeling of guilt, especially for people with a divorce or a spouse who has died and he's got remarried. Then the children of the first spouse can really hold the parent to ransom, saying no, you must do it, and then it kind of becomes an emotional blackmail. If my mother was there, wouldn't you have done it? If my father was there, wouldn't you have done it, kind of thing. Blackmailing children are very common, so be careful about that. Don't fall into their trap of getting blackmailed and say, I've got admission in let's say some Ivy League school, can't you afford it? The answer is, if you can't afford it, say you can't afford it. Put a percentage which you're willing to give away. Like if you have a net worth of 25-30 crores, giving away 2 crores is okay. But if your net worth is 4 crores, you may need 4 crores for your own retirement. Don't give away 2 crores from that. Don't say, it's okay to spend on my children, they will repay it. They will repay it, they can repay it, they may repay it. What if they don't repay it, right? What happens if the child meets with an accident and you don't have enough adequate insurance cover? Then you will spend on the child's medical, you will not have enough money for your retirement, the school fees which you paid is gone. So be very careful as to what you're doing. It's perfectly alright to tell a child that look, whatever is your educational expenses, please spend it. After I die, I'll give you money. At that time, I'll compensate you. But right now, I can't give away when I'm alive, because I do not know how much I am going to need for my old age. So because you're unable to make that prediction, you will have to be very careful about how much you're giving your children for their projects. So be careful about that, because your retirement is far more important than their whatever be their projects. Another mistake I see people making is borrowing from your provident fund. In India, it's not very difficult to borrow from your provident fund, and unfortunately, it is not taxable. I would make it taxable. I would think that if somebody borrows money from their provident fund before their age of 55, I would add it to their income. Just like what happens when you withdraw from your provident pension plans. If you have a pension plan, you should not be allowed to withdraw before you're 55, or some major illness or something. Maybe payment to a hospital, but not for your daughter's wedding and buying a scooter and buying a car and buying a house. It should not be available. This is meant for your retirement, and keep it like that. Don't withdraw from that and hurt your own retirement, right? If you can't live on your income for 30 days, how are you going to live for 40 years based on your corpus? So answer that question first. So if you can't answer that question, be very careful. Another thing which I see both ways, I see people accumulating things. It's unbelievable to see a 57-year-old or a 58-year-old going and buying a big house and filling it up with things and all that, as though he or she is going to be permanent. At 58, if you do that, imagine in 12 years you will want to move to a senior citizen home. So you're accumulating all this for 12 years. It's very difficult to then declutter. And on the other side, I see people decluttering, just throwing away everything, not just sentimentally, but also legally. Make sure that you don't throw away all your important papers. Some important papers may have to be kept, so be careful. 5 years for taxation should be good enough, but you never know. This country is great. Some old 4-year, 5-year, 7-year queries can come up, so be careful about that. Don't put your kids first. Yes, put your kids kids are very important. Kids are lovely to have, but it is also important to know that your own retirement is far more important. And let me quote something very old. You cannot borrow for your retirement. You normally can borrow for everything other than your retirement. You can borrow for your car, for your house, even for your timeshare. right? I'm not suggesting you buy a timeshare. I'm a shareholder of Thomas Cook and Mahindra Holiday Resorts. I'm very happy being a shareholder rather than being I'm not a very happy unit holder. I'm a happy shareholder. So whether you want to buy timeshare is very attractive for people who retire, saying, oh, now that I've retired, I'm going to travel. Yes, it's a great thing to buy if you are traveling. If you're not traveling, then be aware of the expenses which you will incur, etc., right? So don't just think that it is easy to buy a timeshare and enjoy it. That's fine, but also another thing I find a huge mistake is asset allocation. If you are very comfortable with equities, like people like me, I can afford to be 90% in equities. If you can't afford to be in 90% in equities, obviously you don't understand equity markets well, you don't blah blah blah, but you cannot afford to be zero in equity. You need to have equity in your portfolio if you have to worry about inflation, and you have to worry about inflation if you're 60. You've got another maybe 40 years to go, right? So if you're going to live for 40 years, you need to have provision for inflation protection. So at least 30% of your portfolio, if not 50%, should be in equities, and slowly you do a drawdown. That's fine, but you cannot avoid the stock market, nor can you go on the other hand and put 90% of your money in stock market if you don't really understand. If you're a late starter, you've never been in equity markets till you're 52, 55 or whatever, then that is not a time to be putting all your money in equity markets. You may not have enough time to recover because you don't have the mental strength to stay through the bad times. So be very careful. Don't ignore your health, right? That's a very important thing. Join a gym, do some exercise, whatever, but don't ignore your health. Ignoring health is another, could be headed for disaster, simply because good health is good economic sense also. Because if you don't have good health, I mean, simple exercises also, if you don't do, chances are that you will fall ill and you will spend a fortune on that, and you may not have provided for all that in your retirement plan, right? So don't neglect your estate planning. Make sure that you have your will. Make sure that you sit with your children and have a proper documentation, what I call the death file. If you go to YouTube and search for Subramani death file, you will see what are the documents which are necessary to leave for your children, why you should make a will. I'm not talking about it, I'm just saying here, make a will, how to make a will, why to make a will. Again, I've got videos. No, I may not put a link here, but if you go and search for Subramani making a will, you will find many videos on why you should make a will and how you should make a will and whether you should get it registered. I've done all that, so go and have a look. People again thinking that they can live off the reverse mortgage. You can't, not in this country, not for the next 5-10 years. It's not a great product, so just ignore that. If it happens, I mean, if in a worst case scenario, maybe you can use it, but right now you could make a mess thinking that that will happen. May or may not happen, so be careful about that. Then downsizing your portfolio, not understanding the importance of keeping separate asset allocations and things like that. I think this is, I must have enumerated about 20 things that are mistakes in retirement. Longish video, please watch it till the end. Thank you.